Hey everybody, ronarray here, and then 0.4 is finally out. Now we have lots of new information about the gems, passives and mechanics, so I wanted to do a quick update for my Bear Shaman Druid build, based on my campaign and early game experience. For me, campaign been a breeze, so I wanted to share some tips and tricks and setups that you can use to improve your own Bear build. I will also develop the build further, so feel free to subscribe to the channel for more updates. There will be plenty. And let's go! So first off, let's talk about basic abilities. So if you just started the Bear and you're playing one of the first acts, one of the things that you might notice that your first skill, Furious Slam, is feeling a little too slow, as you can see. Especially it's going to be slow when you just started. But there's a cool trick how you can make it much faster. So if you're using Maul before you're using the Slam, your Bear is standing up, as you can see, and after you already stood up, using the Slam is much faster. So first, you're using the Maul, and after it's the Slam. Maul, Slam, Maul, Slam. That's pretty much how it's working in the early game. Keep that combination in mind because it's going to make your gameplay significantly more comfortable. You can also use that combo in the endgame too if you care about how fast you're casting the Slam in general. And it can also help with such things as bosses, just for the additional damage. So we're practically going to use Maul just for that. Another thing is Volcano. As I already recommended, it's pretty cool to just add 2 volcanoes before you're going to Slam because it's going to set up more projectiles. I recommend to use that combo at least in the first act. However, later on you will get a very cool ability which is replacing the volcano. It's Shockwave Totem. So after you get Shockwave Totem, I recommend to completely drop Volcano from your setup and just use Shockwave Totems. For Shockwave Totems, as a support, you can run Overabundance to get +1, Argent Totems and Rapid Attacks at the moment. That's what I'm using. So those totems are going to completely destroy most of the enemies. If you will place 2 totems at the boss and you will keep using your Furious Slam together with Maul, you're going to deal tremendous damage. That's probably the strongest combo for Bear in campaign at the moment, and I heavily recommend to use it. Another cool thing is Pounce. So Pounce is like your movement skill which is changing you to a wolf form and you can just jump around using it. I heavily recommend it to start the fight with Pounce because it's going to give you a mark on the boss. Just make sure you're changing the form to the Bear right after. So for the Pounce as a support, I recommend the Mark for Death early on and Mark of Siphoning a little later because it's going to give you additional mana leech and going to fix a big percent of your mana. Later on, if you don't really need Mark for Death, you can also run basic rage support if you need additional small generator, but I think at higher levels, especially after you ascend, you don't really need that anymore. So for your first gem that you're going to use as a spirit gem, I recommend to just take Herald of Ash, and when you will get more spirit, adding clarity and such thing as vitality to it is probably a pretty good idea. And second gem is probably going to be charge regulation, but if you're in the same situation like I am at the moment and you don't have dexterity for it, you can run scavenge plating. But keep in mind that for scavenge plating to work, you will need to add Mark for Death at Pounce. Otherwise, it's not going to work properly, so don't use it if you don't have Mark for Death, because you're not breaking armor in that case. So the next question is how good Walking Calamity is working. And at the moment I believe that Walking Calamity is working absolutely amazing, buffing the Bear significantly, since Shaman is regenerating the rage passively, which is absolutely amazing. As you can see, when I'm just spamming Furious Slam in the endgame, I'm barely losing rage. And if I would hit enemies, I would literally stay at maximum rage all the time because my Furious Slam costs 7 plus 10 and it's also generating 7, on top of basic regenerations that come in from mana and Shaman Ascendancy. So same comes from Walking Calamity. Since we are playing Shaman, it's very easy to use Walking Calamity. As you can see, you just activating it, and when you're activating it, your bear is standing up, so your next Furious Slam is going to be faster. And after it finished, as you can see, it's regenerating tremendously fast. And well, here it is, we can use it again. You can just spam Walking Calamity and use it constantly in the endgame after your second Ascendancy. So I heavily recommend to use it. As a support for it, I recommend Elemental Armament and Magnified Area at the moment. You can also run Concentrated Area if you feel like you need additional damage for it, but I believe that losing Area of Effect could feel a little not that good, so feel free to not use Concentrated at all. And the next skill is Rampage. Rampage is the main skill that we are using to move around when we have rage and you just want to run through like white monsters. At the moment, at the start of the endgame, I would say that Rampage shouldn't be spammed too often, because it feels a little clunky and you need to hold the button down. So when I'm holding the button, I'm starting rampaging, and as you can see, I'm running around and my rage is draining. So after it's ended, which is pretty long to be honest, I'm just waiting for rage to regenerate, or you can use other attacks such as Maul for example to get that rage up. Also keep in mind that when you're using the Maul, you're not losing the rage because of your Shaman Ascendancy, so that ability should be very comfortable for it. And Rampage is mostly a traverse skill that should be used like at the start of the map and when you're just killing the basic bugs. At the boss, I don't really recommend to use it, just stick to Shockwave Totem, Furious Slam and Coming Calamity, which you will need to use non-stop. For the supports at Rampage, I'm currently using Momentum, Feast of War and Burgeon, since we are channeling it for a pretty long time. Nothing else is important for it. And the last part is Ferocious Roar. Ferocious Roar is an ability that's just going to use a Warcry for you, and I believe getting Infernal Warcry is probably the best combination for it. The big upside for it is like when you're using Ferocious Roar, your character is standing up again. So Ferocious Roar and you're standing. So after Ferocious, you can use Furious Slam almost immediately. And I think it could be a very nice opener when you're like just using Ferocious and then Slam. And that combo is working pretty nice together, especially if you don't want to use Maul. Another interesting topic is Fury of the Mountain. I believe that Fury of the Mountain can replace the Maul in the early campaign if you feel like it. To run it, you need to use the same support that I'm currently recommending in the Maul. So you just need to use Rapid Attacks, it's probably going to be Rapid Attacks 1, and Rage. So like those two supports are going to work for your Fury of the Mountain. So Fury of the Mountain is just a pretty nice ranged ability, and you can also combine it with Slam to deal a little additional damage. And I think it's a big part of the personal preferences, what people actually prefer to use Fury of the Mountain or to use Maul at the moment. Test both skills and just pick the one that you prefer the most. I've been using Fury of the Mountain pretty proactively during the campaign and just stopped using it in the endgame because I don't really need more AoE. I can just spam Furious Slam or Rampage or even Walking Calamity, and I don't want to click even more buttons at the moment. Now, let's talk about the tree. So at the start, I believe you can just progress during the line and go up to Primal Spirit, because additional skill speed is going to give you a lot of quality of life. After you go to the Primal Spirit, you can go to the left and take Harbinger of Disaster. If you really feel like you need AoE, you can take Radial Force, but later on I just got rid of it at the moment. You can also go to Sturdy Mind, but go there only after you will ascend. So before you're ascending, don't go into that part. Just keep going to the left and take Personal Touch for additional attack damage. And you can go up and take Bestial Rage. It's going to give you Rage on melee hit, and Rage grant you increased physical damage, which is pretty nice at the moment. So after you finished up with that part, I recommend to go down here and invest into Sharpened Claw, Swift Claw, and Piercing Claw. All of those are pretty nice, it's going to help you with your damage. And going to the left, you can invest into Primal Rage for additional rage, because rage is giving you a lot of damage. And also take Battle Fervor for additional physical damage, which is very nice as well. So taking rage on hit like additional node here will help you out to always have rage up to use your Furious Slam. And I recommend to take Impact Force as well. Later on, I will probably invest in the Impact area right here, but currently I just don't have enough points for it. And going down here, you can also take Smash for additional melee damage, together with Burning Strikes for physical damage as extra fire. And going down here, you can reach like Singular Purpose, you can reach Crush and Verdict for additional attack damage, which is very good for Furious Slam and for your Rampage too, because it's an attack. So next 2 points I will probably also invest to Reverberating Impact, just for additional area, and I will probably reach Brutal as well, just for stun build-up, melee and STR. On top of that, I believe that in the tree at the moment you can also go up and take 2 maximum rage here. When I will have more points, I will definitely do that. And if you're focusing on elemental damage, especially on fire, you can go up here, take Sigil of Fire, and even go down for Burning Nature. If on the other hand you're currently using like Herald of Ice and Porcicane to just blow up enemies, you can also go up and take cold damage instead, together with Sigil of Ice. So for survivability, I think you can take both Polished Iron and Blade Catcher if you're feeling like you need more armor, but generally you should be alright just with setup like that. And if you don't have enough armor applies to elemental damage on your items, you can also progress here and take Prism Guard. So talking about the itemization, the most important part for your items is just your weapon. Make sure that you have as high DPS as possible, even if part of that is going to be elemental. And if you have plus level of all melee skills on your weapon at all times. Don't forget about the gloves, invest into plus level of all melee skills here too. And for the rest of the items, you mostly just looking forward to get like some life, some armor together with this, and if you can get some additional basic resistance for the campaign, it should be absolutely alright. For the rings, you can just aim for basic damage. My rings are currently not that good, but I think just getting flat damage in there together with resistances is the way at the moment. So if you will follow those basic tips, you're probably going to have a pretty easy campaign and early endgame. In terms of how you're playing, I think you should just activate Walking Calamity and run around with Rampage, or just running around while using Furious Slam. And for the bosses, use Shockwave Totems together with Furious Slam, and don't forget to stand up with Maul if you're feeling like your slam is too slow, because that combination is making the bear play significantly easier. After I will get the access to more uniques and later endgame variations, I will do another update improving the gameplay and moving the build forward with some additional mechanics, so stay tuned for it, and thank you very much for watching. You can also ask your questions and check out my guide, which is going to be both in the description and in the pinned comment, or ask me on stream, since I'm live pretty often. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time. Ronarray out.